Married 2.5 years. I, 31M, just got confirmation that my partner, 29F, has been having at the very least an EA, maybe more with a co-worker of mine who sits on the same floor as me. I'm out of town and I don't know how to handle it. At work, I see co-workers all the time. I'm planning on going to my department head and or HR and see what can be done. But more importantly, I don't know how to confront my partner. I'm planning to say nothing until I return. Some backstory. Since March 21st, things have begun to deteriorate. We both used the D word in fights we've had and chose to have a separation for most of December. She flew to her home state where she has been staying with friends and avoiding family. I played a role in her having to talk to / see her family, and its biggest betrayal ever. She does not get along with her family, and they are actively working through their issues, but it's not getting anywhere. I've been instructed that I am not to contact them at all. Easy enough, they all also live in her home state, and we are not close. My partner posted something on Instagram, and so her friends and her sister saw. Her sister texted me and asked what was going on. I, still bitter from our last fight and upset we were separated in the first place, chose to answer with a very brief exchange which said, "Yes, she's here. Are you not with her?" "No, we're separated, that's all I'm going to say." I want to stress that the important piece is that I shared with her sister that we were separated. This person is not to be trusted in general, let alone with that sort of information. Obviously, my partner finds out and justifiably explodes in anger. However, rather than what I assume is a normal level of anger, she views it as the biggest betrayal I could possibly have done to her. This was before Christmas. I say let's talk after Christmas, but I didn't hear from her until almost 3 weeks later. I wanted to give her space, so I waited for her. I think waiting was my second mistake. Because when I do hear from her, it get high up. I'm ready to come home. Can you please stay with a friend while we figure this out? I feel blindsided by this, and we soon after FaceTime and discuss where I tell her I think it's extreme, but she feels different. To keep it short, the summary of the conversation is that I'm also 100% for all the problems in our marriage too. I begged again, 4th time, to get marriage counseling. She says no because she has to work on her mental health first. She's been fighting depression since July. She still hasn't found a therapist. Partner and I used to work at the same company in very different roles. Over the summer she quit but maintained friendships with a lot of people. One in particular I was previously not worried about, in a committed relationship, and she said some negative things about him in the past. This was all the case until right after she bought her plane ticket. They had started to text all the time. She would say they, Cow and his GF, are just fighting all the time, and I'm being there for him. The day before she flies out, she spent 4 hours at his house. Alone. One thing we have always had was free and open iPhones for each other in case we get self-conscious about infidelity, and we freely share with each other passwords and Face ID and everything. I looked at the conversations between them, and I'm rather shocked and concerned. There are one-sided details of the fight, partner, and I had emotional support from the guy. I find this concerning, but I say nothing because I'm convinced she doesn't see him that way. Spoiler, I was wrong. She flies back the same day I fly out for a trip, another 9 days apart. We have a shared photo gallery. A few days before our flight, suspicious photos between the two of them pop up. They continued for another 2 days. These photos are not specifically damning but highly suspicious. My friends tell me they don't prove anything concrete, but there's a possibility something is going on. I'm pretty convinced. I'm worried he's going to pick her up from the airport, and then they go back to our place, etc., etc. My anxiety is through the roof for 3 days in a row. Our house has a nanny cam for our dogs. We also actively share our location through Google Maps. She is fully aware of these facts. She watches a ton of murder documentaries, and this is something we do to have each other's back. The day she flies back, I had already landed at my destination, and began obsessively checking her location to see when she walked in the house to see if coworker picked her up from the airport via nanny cam. Thankfully she was alone. My anxiety stops for at least that night, but my suspicion continues. This morning we talked on the phone. We agreed that we can be back on speaking terms. But my texting her sister was a massive betrayal. I had left notes and cards around the house and did other things I knew she would like to show I still care. Now though she's having conflicting feelings, since how could I love her and also betray her like that? We agreed to talk about it once I'm back, and I don't need to stay with a friend right away. I felt much better, and I thought most of the day we might be able to make it work. This evening I get a movement alert from the nanny cam, and I see she's all dressed up. She goes to some generic restaurant. She's only there for 45 minutes, then heads back. Check the camera. Did they get the check early and decide dessert is at home? She's alone but on the phone. I listen to everything until they hang up, and obviously, I only get what she says. What I gather is that first it was the co-worker she went to dinner with, second he went to break it off with my partner to go back to his GF. She's very understanding with him and confirms I'll delete all the photos in our chat. She then asked if he can still give her weekly guitar lessons like they talked about doing to stay friends. Then she says I really like you and I like where this was headed, blah blah. Suspicion confirmed. She wanted it and he knew better. I don't know how far it went between them, but that's enough for me to know that she's the one betraying the relationship. So what's next? This just happened and I can't sleep. All advice is welcome. Edit. I'm certain they did not have sex/PA during said 4 hours alone before she left for her home state. Everyone is telling me I'm naive, but guys, you're just gonna have to trust me. Since then I know she only saw him at the restaurant. There is a lot of room for cyber-sex though. The line I overheard about the photos needing to be deleted is uncomfortable to think about. Update. Got all the confirmation I needed that there was at minimum an emotional affair on the first day of my 8-day trip away from home. I posted that night and spent the last week processing. Went through all the stages of grief at least 4 times. Met virtually with my therapist and talked at length with the 2 friends I was staying with. They were more than happy to help me process all of this, which was probably the best case scenario. I chose to not communicate at all with STBXW. I did however text her and asked that she pick me up from the airport and told her we're going to need to talk, but not until tomorrow. She agreed with no hesitation. The ride home was friendly but obviously full of tension. Hung out with the dogs, then grabbed my laptop and headed to bed. One user suggested I check the deleted folder. I'm glad I did. It's all there. Way less than I thought there would be. Definitely enough though. Partially relieved there wasn't more. Definitely happy to have had the week to process. I'm not angry or upset, which is odd to me. I guess I'm kinda relieved that I can see with my own eyes the betrayal. Off to bed. I'll update again once I have something more. Edit. Without question I'm planning on divorce. The state we are living in is a no-fault state, which means I don't need to build a case, and I don't need a lawyer unless things get messy. I really don't think it will get to that point, but we will soon find out. We have no property or any meaningful assets. Her car and mine are basically it, so it's an easy split. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. You betrayed her by talking to her family, and she betrayed you by trying to duck your coworker. Meet with a lawyer and file. You don't want to be her backup plan until the next guy comes along. Tell coworkers GF. She had a right to know so she can make her own decisions. OP reply. I've been trying to find any information about the GF, but I can't find anything, so I doubt I'll be able to do that. I really want to though, lol. Comment 2. She spent 4 hours at his house and you are certain they didn't have sex? Come on. Denial is not your friend here. OP reply. I know what it sounds like, but my point is that they moved from casual acquaintances to close friends. When this happened, in the timeline of events, it was when she and I thought the separation would do us some good. Comment 3. She causes problems, you smooth them over, right? You apologize, leave notes, etc. because, why? She'll never come to you to apologize first? This stuff starts from day 1 in dating, from my observation. She's not worried you're going to screw up the move. She trusts you to be responsible like that. The betrayal talk screams of drama to me. Was there one drama at her work, one drama with her friend, another drama with her sister, another drama with her mom/dad, then the drama of moving suddenly, and the drama of your worst betrayal ever just put her right around the bend. OP reply: the only drama is family related. It's all a bunch of immature garbage. It stems from the death of her father, passed away a year before I met my partner, and how her mom has changed everything about her life and personality, and the kids aren't happy about mom moving on. The work stuff was real, like 10 formal HR complaints. She quit over the summer, I encouraged it, and was happy once she got out. Her friend's thing was kinda ducked up. Long story not worth telling. Ultimately they decided their friendship was more valuable than the one-time issue. My BF walked out pale when he saw a video with me cause he never thought I would go so far. I'm just completely lost right now and don't know where to start. I've had a very troubled upbringing. All the types of misuse you can think of, multiple foster homes etc. pills and Zex. I'm not proud of my past. Around 21, a solid 7 years after things really went south for me, I decided to get clean out of nowhere. Since that day, I've never drunk enough to even get tipsy, or done any pills even though it's been incredibly hard and continues to be. I met my boyfriend a year after I started making these changes. From the get-go, I laid my cards on the table, and he's never been anything less than supportive. He's 100% the best thing that has happened to me, and we talked like we would be married anyway. We've just assumed it will happen for the last year. On Sunday, he was sent a GIF/video over text that was undeniably me with a group of men. I'm clearly not in my senses, and I have no recollection of this happening, but would not call it out of place for where I was at that time in my life. I also wasn't even 18 at the time. I didn't make any excuses, and felt trauma of my own that reopened the wounds from the past, but recognized this moment was about him. He wanted space, and I gave it to him. Today I got a text this morning telling me he's seen more, and is truly disgusted by the person I am, and that he couldn't believe what I would do for other men, but not him. I completely understand his reaction in being disgusted, and have no idea what he saw, but I'm so very confused by his second statement. We have had an incredibly healthy sex life, and I've indulged in every single desire/kink he's vocalized. I don't understand how he could think that way. I'm just a complete mess at the moment and feel like I've had a trapdoor open under my feet. What do I even say to him to try and fix this? I should be worried about whoever is sending him this, but I can't even bring myself to think of anything other than getting him back. Any advice? Edit: I'm really not going to jump on the dump him, he's an a-hole bandwagon. I appreciate the sentiment, but this isn't black and white. For now I'm giving him space and time, and I have a lot of questions like he does, and hopefully we can both have them answered in a few days. I have no intentions of pursuing anything criminal here. I'm trying to look forward, not back. Maybe I'll do that out of spite if things don't work out with me and my boyfriend, but I'm focusing all my energy now on understanding what's best for me and him. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1, and I'd notify the cops about the video. You were a child and the statute of limitations is longer. Maybe contact the Child Exploitation Department of the police department. They'll have more empathy. Comment 2, I'd focus on this stuff. Maybe your boyfriend will be jolted to reality and forgive you for being a victim. Even if he does, I don't know why you'd want to forgive him after seeing how he doesn't listen to you. But the most important thing is getting justice. The sooner you act the better, as the cops will probably have access to more info/be able to find the person who sent him that. Comment 3, and after seeing a video of you being sexually offended, he makes it about how you did something amazing for your offender but won't do something for him. When you self-admit you have done everything he's asked. Does he want to offend you while under the influence, because that's the only thing left given the context? You were a troubled teen who has been misused in unimaginable horrific ways. That doesn't make you lesser, it makes you a victim, and it means you deserve love and compassion and support and kindness, not your boyfriend shaming you after he saw a video of you being offended.